Alright guys, it's been a while since I made one of these. Been a bit of a combination of me being busy, the weather not really cooperating, and not really having anything to talk about just because I haven't had anything really going wrong with the cars. So I haven't really had any progress or any kind of updates to give you. The Mercury is still in storage. It's still not being worked on because I can't find the parts car for it to do the body work. So I'm a little frustrated with that. I didn't get anything done on it at all over the winter. It was 70, 60, 70 degrees in February, most of February. And then when it came into March and now into April, it's been back into the like 20, 30 degree range, which sucks. It's all confused. The seasons don't seem to be cooperating. But now it's about 65 degrees and sunny, so I figured I'd make a little video just so people don't think I died or something. So the Oldsmobile, nothing's changed. The only real problem I've been dealing with on it is it's dieseling a lot. When I shut it off, like it'll diesel for 10, 15, 20 seconds afterwards, and I'm beginning to think it might be hurting the engine a little bit. It's got this shake to it now when you're in gear or when you're in park and it's idling at about 800 RPM. The car just shakes so violently. You can feel it in the steering wheel and in the seats, and it feels like a misfire, but then you go to open the hood and look at the engine, and the actual engine isn't shaking at all. It's just the whole car. So I'm wondering if maybe I got a motor mount or something. But when you put it in gear, in idling gear, it doesn't shake. It idles smoothly. It drives fine. And then when you go to accelerate and you rev it up to about 800, 900 RPM, it'll do the same thing briefly and shake as you start to accelerate. But then it goes away once you get up into 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 RPM. It won't do it anymore. It only does it at 800, 900 RPM. So I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with it. I tried to pour water down the carb and rev it up a bit to get the carbon off the pistons, try to cure the dieseling in case it was caused by a carbon buildup, and it doesn't seem to have helped anything. So again, I don't really know what's going on with that. I might try to do a little seafoam, a little Italian tune-up, pour some seafoam down the carb, transmission fluid down the spark plug hole, see if I can get it to clear up that way. But other than that, I don't really know. It might just have to be a quirk of the car at this point, and I'm kind of stumped with it. I already uninstalled my bypass for the vent mode on the climate controls. I know I've talked about that briefly in some other videos where the HVAC on this car is all screwed up, and if you want to get if you turn hot air on the vent in the wintertime, it blows colder out the vent and hotter out the floor. So I had to kind of reconfigure the HVAC hoses under the dash and stuff to get it so hot air will come out the dash vents. But I got rid of that already because it's warm out. I'll be bypassing the heater core when it warms up a little more. It's still going to be in the 40s and 50s all week, this coming week here. So I don't want to not have heat until it's going to be warm all summer. But the winter tires are coming off. I've got the I guess summer tires, you could call them, in the back, in the trunk, and in the back seats. So I'll be doing that at some point this week at work, most likely. One of them looks kind of suspect. It's kind of got some cracks on it that I'm not so sure about, and the sidewall's not looking so good. So if that one causes any trouble, I might have to take another tire off the Lincoln, and the old Lincoln tires, and put it on this car. So we'll have 2 Uniroyals and 2 Firestones on it. It's also the oldest tire, the one from 2011. That's the one that kind of looks not so great, so I might be swapping that one for a little newer tire. But other than that, that's all we got going on with the Oldsmobile here. Just trying to fix that dieseling issue, get my summer tires back on it, put the right hubcaps back on it, and just keep on driving. That's the plan. So let's go to the other. Let's go down to the shop and look at the other ones. All right. So the Citation, not a whole lot's changed. I'll tell you what though, I only drove this car a handful of times in the winter here, and it's getting rusty. I mean, I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not. I know you can see that. That's a big spot, but like all this is rust. That's rust on the doors. They're all rusty from just one winter of driving. I never wash it or anything. It's just a beater, who cares? But it's insane to me how I could drive. And I drove a Cadillac a lot more this winter, and I've been driving the Oldsmobile, for 3 years now, every winter, and it got no rust on it, or I should say, it doesn't have any more rust on it than it did when I got it. This car was borderline rust free when I got it, and now it's kind of turned into a pile of shit. So that just kind of proves how cheap the Chevy Citations were made. Just cheap, shitty metal, cheap paint, just rusted out in a year, I guess, and that's why you don't see them anymore. But nothing's really changed with it as far as mechanically goes. It still runs and drives and does its job. But I have decided, though, I've been working on another project, which is, I'm not going to reveal to you guys quite yet. I'll reveal it when I get it a little closer to being roadworthy. But I needed to get a new hood for it, and I actually had to use the one of my family's vehicles, that truck there, to go to the junkyard and get that hood, because the hood wouldn't fit in the Citation. And that was disappointing to me, because part of the reason why I sold that little blue car and kept this is because this has more space for parts when I go to the junkyard, which is quite often with the kind of vehicles I work on. And if I can't haul parts with this, then what's the point in having this? I need something a little bigger. But I don't like trucks. I'm not going to own a truck if I can help it. So I'll probably be selling this. I know there is one guy on my channel who has been repeatedly messaging me about wanting it. I believe he's from Utah or something. So if you're listening to this, buddy, it'll be for sale. $1,400 is going to be what I'm asking. I know it probably won't sell for that much, but that's what I'm going to put up on Facebook here this summer. And I'm not giving you the radio. I'm taking the radio, but you can have everything else. And I'm going to try to get myself maybe a station wagon, a full-size station wagon, not a mid-size one or anything. I'm going to full-size wagon, so I can have some more space, or maybe an El Camino. I've been kind of debating on that, because I don't really like El Caminos. I think they're kind of stupid, but it is what I need. I mean, it's a truck bed on a car, so I'd have the benefits of a handling of a car and the comfort of a car, with the benefit of having a truck bed. And if it's an El Camino and not a Ranchero, you can get a V6 in those, so you get a better gas mileage. So that's probably what I'm going to go for, is a V6 El Camino. But that's basically the gist of what's going on with the Citation. I'm going to be getting rid of it here, so if anybody's interested, there you go. I'll make a formal video on it eventually, but right now that's just going to be your update. Okay, so next thing with Cadillac here. Two things have happened to it. One, I was visiting a friend out of town a couple weekends ago, and we were about to go out and get lunch, and I noticed there was a bunch of tranny fluid leaking under my car. So I went out to the car, opened the hood, looked, and it had popped a transmission cooler line off up by the radiator. So I had to fix that. The part that needs doesn't exist anymore. They don't make it anymore. I could probably get it from a dealer if I really tried that hard. But what I ended up doing is taking some fuel hose and some hose clamps and just kind of spliced it. I cut the old line, the bad parts of the old line out, and put the hose over the, put the fuel hose over the good part of the line and clamped it down, and it made it home without leaking. And I inspected it the other day to make sure that it wasn't going to leak, and it doesn't. It looks like it's going to hold, so that's probably going to end up being a permanent fix on that. And then the other thing I've been dealing with on this is an ongoing battle for the last 2-3 months or so. There is a rodent of some kind living in this car, and I'm sure it's in the HVAC. It's got to be. I've cleaned the car. I've taken the dash apart numerous times to look. I've cleaned it out. It doesn't have anything in it really left. I used to have a bunch of napkins and some paper plates and fast food straws and things like that. So if I, ate in the car, I'd have something to clean up. And if I got McDonald's or something, they forgot to put a straw in the bag, I'd have an extra straw, that kind of thing. And the mice were eating all that shit. They were eating the napkins, and they were building nests out of it. And I had it where I was out of town, and we opened the glove box to get to the trunk switch, and there was this big old mouse nest right in the glove box, and they chewed up my owner's manual a little bit and eaten my insurance cards, and I was a little frustrated at that, so we went to one of them car washes, and I vacuumed it out, got rid of that mouse nest, and threw away the straws I had in there because they were contaminated, and I was like, all right, well, I'll deal with it when we get home. When I got home, there was another mouse nest in it, so that means that whatever made that nest was still in the car when I was out of town. So cleaned it out again, took the dash apart a little bit, tried to find if I could see where they were coming from. No luck with that. So I put some mothballs in it, try and keep them away. And then I got sick of the mothball smell. I didn't like my a car that I actively drove having mothballs in it. So I did some research and found that mice don't like cinnamon sticks, the smell of them. So I put some cinnamon in the glove box, and it seemed to hold them at bay for a while until I went out of town again, and I opened the glove box just to check, and there was a big old mouse nest in there again on top of my cinnamon sticks. So now I'm on the last straw here, and what I actually ended up doing is putting some mouse traps in the car. There's one there, down there on the ground, right there. There's one under each seat, and there's one in the glove box. And I've been checking it every few days or so to make sure there's not a decaying corpse of a mouse in my car. But I haven't found anything, and I haven't found any more evidence of the mice being in the car. One of the traps was activated. One of the ones in the seat was activated, but there was no mouse in it. And ever since I found that trap that had snapped, that activated, I haven't seen any sign of them. So I'm hoping that maybe it scared them off, and it's gone now. Because if I find any more evidence of a mouse in this car, I'm probably going to call pest control, and I'm going to have them deal with it, which isn't going to be cheap, and it's not going to be fun, but it is what it is, because I can't be having a car or a mouse living in this car, especially as it's getting hotter now. I mean, it's got to be 100 degrees in this car right now, sitting in the sun. I don't want a mouse dying of heat exhaustion in my vents, and then when I turn the AC on, it's going to smell like death coming through the vents. So we can't be having that. So I got to do something about it. But if you guys have any suggestions with that, please let me know, because I'm at a loss here. I'm on the verge of calling pest control. So anyway, that's what's going on with the Cadillac. Heard about the Citation. Heard about a bit about the Mercury and the Oldsmobile. So there's your update. I'll try to put more videos out, but again, I just don't have anything to work on right now, so I don't have any content to make you guys, so I'm just kind of stuck. But I do have another project I bought for $900 in Wisconsin, and it needs a lot of work, and I'll be fixing it up, and it'll be just kind of a backup car, because the Cadillac is well, I've got a really big trip coming up. We're going on the East Coast here in July, and I really don't know if the Cadillac can make that trip safely or reliably. So we'll see, and if it doesn't do very well, then this new car I bought will replace the Cadillac, and that car will probably go up for sale. So that's what I got going on for you guys. Keep an eye out for that the new car kind of release video, but again, I am going to get it a little bit more fixed up. It's in pretty rough shape right now. I'm going to get it a little bit better before I start posting videos on it. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed if you made it this far, and I'll see you when I see you.